let's begin this morning with a story that is still unfolding. 47 days after the explosion of an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico, BP's underwater well still leaking oil. And one way or another, this disaster is going to affect this country for years to come. It is the worst oil spill in U.S. history, and now hurricane season is officially underway, only increasing the threat. Spencer Houldin is an agent with the Independent Insurance Agents and Brokers of America. He joins us now to talk about that and a lot more, how people need to be prepared for this. Spencer, thanks for coming down.
Good morning,
Appreciate
Poppy.
it.
Thank you.
Let's start with the oil spill, because why this matters to people in their insurance policies is that it's ultimately going to result, I would guess, in fights between individuals that are affected, their property, their businesses, between whether it's the insurance provider they have that's responsible or whether it's BP that's responsible.
Well, absolutely. It's going to be tough to go after BP because everybody's going to be after them. So I think we need to look at our individual policies. God forbid we get a hurricane and the oil ends up inland on top of houses. Or look at the insurance homeowners policy. If there is wind coverage on that policy, there's a good chance that that cleanup's going to be covered. There is an exclusion for pollutants, but because of wind, which is a covered peril through the oil on the house, probably going to be covered. Same with flood. If the flood brings the water in the house and tidal water, probably going to be covered by the National Flood Insurance Program. Of course, if you have 6 feet of water in your basement, the least of your problems is a little bit of oil on top.
That's true, but looking at hurricane season, as we said, officially now underway. It started on Tuesday. NOAA is predicting what they're calling an active to extremely active season. So let's pull up. Look there, folks, on your screen, what's expected. 14 to 23 named storms, 8 to 14 hurricanes, 3 to 7 major hurricanes, Spencer. So when you look at that, do you think people are prepared in terms of having the right insurance for this season?
Trusted Choice, along with the Independent Insurance Agents and Brokers of America, recently did a survey of over 1,000 households. And very interesting, in that survey, the 20% of the respondents felt that they were fully prepared.
Just 20%.
Just 20%. 50 thought they were somewhat, and 23 felt that they were not at all prepared. So I don't think that people are prepared for it. What's interesting is a follow-up question to that was whether or not people felt they had adequate insurance if a natural disaster struck.
Right.
And 32% felt they did not have the proper insurance. So they need to go see an agent.
Are they doing anything about it? I mean, how can they be better prepared? Hurricane season just started. You can go out today and get the insurance you need. Absolutely.
You have to go speak to an agent. I recommend a Trusted Choice agent that really understands various companies, works with a lot of companies, can find the right solution for you to make sure that the coverage that is in place is going to respond properly.
One thing that people can do that is very inexpensive, but it's probably the most important thing for them to do, is to be prepared and have a to-go bag, right? I mean, it might seem like a little thing, but it's not, is it?
It isn't. And we have to be prepared in general. Have a checklist ready if you have to evacuate. Turn off the utilities, lock the doors, lock the windows. What are you going to take with you? Make sure you have water, battery-operated radio, first aid kit, flashlights, bring clothing, blankets, medicine, emergency phone numbers in case you need them.
Right. And so once you get out of the house, should you be impacted by a major hurricane, you've got to deal with what is in the house and the house itself. And to do that, you are going to have hours and hours of calls with your insurance company. A lot of people don't take pictures and they don't videotape their possessions, but they have to, right? Otherwise, do they even have a claim?
Absolutely. They do have a claim, but the onus is on the insurance policyholder to present that claim to the insurance company. And if everything's gone and they don't know exactly what they owned, it's tough to remember. It's an emotional time. What's in my basement? What's in my garage? I highly recommend videotape where you can narrate, or still pictures, or even just a list that you can write down. One of the questions that we asked in that survey actually is how many people have done that, and 68% of the respondents had not made any records of the personal property.
And if you make those records, upload them online, keep them sort of in the cloud, if you will, because they could get destroyed in the storm.
Absolutely. Do not have them on premises. I had that happen to a client about 15 years ago. It burned with the fire.
Right.
So be prepared.
Great tips. Be prepared. Spencer, thanks. Spencer.